Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome back to more of the Ratchet and Clank playthrough. Last time we got introduced to our two main characters. We have Ratchet, our main controlling character here. He has a wrench, he's very strong with it. And on his back we have Clank. Clank is a robot, a very, very small robot, a very cute small robot. And we are on a quest to save the solar system. Unfortunately, though, our ship crashed on the planet of Novalis, and we need to try to find a way to procure a new ship and basically just get an idea of where we're going to go from here. So before we get started, there is a shop right here, the Gadgetron vendor, as it's called.
Hi there, Fuzzball.
So from this shop, we can buy new weapons and we can buy ammo for our other weapons. But in order to buy these things, we need bolts, and enough bolts to get the Pyrocider, which is the first available weapon that you can buy. So we'll have to come back later. Probably once we're done with this planet, we can come back and get that, no problem. So we'll get that in a little bit. So we have two paths we can go to here. We can go through this water route, or we can go down this elevator. We're going to go down the elevator first. This way we can kind of procure some more bolts and work on that front before we go through the other way. And, yep, looks like we have some enemies. Now, enemies will vary throughout the game. You'll have, like, these little mook soldiers that kind of run up and try to tackle you. Gotta be very mindful of them because they can be really, really fast and annoying to deal with. And you'll also have enemies that have different weapons. Some of the weapons will actually be very similar to weapons that you have. In fact, it seems like these guys have kind of a variation of the bomb glove a little bit. Maybe not as powerful as the bomb glove, but still, little explosive projectiles is basically what I'm getting at here. Also, I forgot to mention, Ratchet doesn't really have a double jump, but he does have kind of like a... He can do a little kick move or a somersault to extend his jump a little bit. I guess you could kind of say it's kind of similar to what Luigi does in Super Mario Bros. 2. Gives a little bit of extra floatiness to your jump, but there'll be other ways we can make our jump a little more efficient, but we'll get to that later. And yeah, I'm going to try to destroy as many enemies as possible because, we get bolts for every enemy we destroy, and with more bolts we can buy more weapons like that Pyrocider we saw earlier. So while we're kind of going through this, just to, I guess, kind of talk about Insomniac Games a little bit, the developers of the Ratchet series. Honestly, Ratchet's probably their most well-known series, I think, at this point. They've also worked on the Spyro the Dragon games, which Spyro is also a very popular video game character, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it was a case where Spyro was really, like, very, very popular on the PlayStation 1, but then when the games were developed on systems other than PlayStation 1, the series kind of went downhill. Now, this is just what I hear from people. I haven't actually played any of the Spyro games myself, but that's definitely something I hear a lot. While the Ratchet games have always seemed to be pretty solid, at least from what I'm aware of. And I think the Ratchet series continued its success longer than the system it originated on. But again, I don't know everything about these series. I just know basically what I've heard from my friends, and who knows, my friends could be extremely biased. I have no idea, so I can't really speak too much on that. But I am looking forward to experiencing the series for myself and, seeing how I'll enjoy these games because, like I said before, I really had a lot of fun with this when I played this for Crystal Star Studio. And another series that Insomniac has worked on is the Resistance series for PlayStation 3. A series I just don't know anything about. I'm going to go ahead and just say that right there. I'm not even sure how the games are. I don't even really know anybody who's even talked about those games at all, so I don't really have much of an opinion on those games, but that's another series that they're apparently well known for. And I think they're also working on the new Spider-Man game that's coming to PlayStation 4 this year, so... And that game looks pretty cool. It really does. Like, when I saw that at E3 last year, it looked really, really tight. So that should be a very solid product that's coming out for the system. And I guess I should also mention I am playing this on the PlayStation 2. I'm playing the original version. I know that there are other versions I could play as well, but unfortunately the PlayStation 2 is the only PlayStation system I own. I do not own a PS3, I do not own a PS4, I do not own a PlayStation Portable system. I just only have a PlayStation 2, so if I ever do a Sony project, it's probably going to be just on the PlayStation 2. Or 1, since 2 can also play PlayStation 1 games. Okay, let's go ahead and destroy more of these jerks. As you can see, I definitely use the wrench a lot, especially early game, because there are a lot of weapons that this game has. And while the Bomb Glove has its uses, I wouldn't say it's really reliable right now. We'll get a lot of other more reliable weapons as we progress through the game. For now, though, the wrench, I think, works pretty well.
Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Oh, what are you? Mercenaries? Torturers? Assassins? I'll tell you anything. Here, take my Infobot. It's all I've got left.
Sir, we're not assassins.
Hold on. Let's see what he's got.
Has this ever happened to you? Hi, I'm Captain Qwark, and believe me, there's nothing worse than staring down a Blargian snagglebeast from the inside and knowing your equipment isn't functioning properly. That's why I come to Al's Robo Shack for all my electronic needs. Al has been the exclusive repair shop for my super electro gadgets since I was knee-high to a sand mouse. If Al can't fix it, it's not broke. Right, Al? You said it, pal. So if you're fighting crime, or just fighting grime, come to Al's Robo Shack in Metropolis for all your robotic repairs. Al's Robo Shack, it's Qwark-tastic!
Do you know what this means?
Yeah, Captain Qwark is really sold out.
No, it means Captain Qwark is on Metropolis. We could tell him about this invasion.
If we had a ship.
What? A ship? What? You're not going to torture me? Well, as planetary chairman, I could arrange for you to borrow our courier ship.
Cool.
You can count on us, sir.
Right. Thank you, your chairman shipliness.
Gadgetron Infobots give you coordinates for new planets.
Very, very smooth, Ratchet. So yeah, we just received an Infobot. Infobots, I guess, are kind of the main storyline missions, I guess you could say. When we go through planets, the Infobots will usually give us info on the next planet we're going to. So those are the basic missions. Of course, there'll be other missions we have to work on as well that'll give us not really Infobots, but, you know, more weaponry and gadgets that we can use. But yeah, every planet has an Infobot or two, and we're going to try to collect as many as possible because that will kind of send us on our way as far as progression is concerned through the rest of this game. Okay, so with that Infobot acquisition, we can go back across the bridge and back up here to the ship. But before we do, how many bolts do we have? We have 3,211. You know what? I think we're going to buy this Pyrocider. How does that sound? So the Pyrocider is pretty cool. It's a flamethrower, and you can use it as such, like this. And it's really good at kind of sweeping the area around you, so it's definitely a very handy weapon to have. It's a weapon I would definitely recommend you have on your quick select at all times, just because of how helpful it can be. So our next goal is actually through here, but before we go that way, there is actually another path in this direction that I want to check out as well. You definitely want to go down these paths, because sometimes you can find other things you can do in the current area you're in. In this case, we have water. I don't think there's anything down here, really, but as we continue along this path, we'll actually find a gold bolt. And gold bolts, I guess you could say, are one of the 100% requirements of this game. Every area in the game has a certain number of gold bolts, and if you collect them all, you can actually obtain some really, really cool weaponry. I'll get into more of that later, because it's not going to be relevant for a really, really long time. But yeah, usually when you go to a planet, it'll tell you how many gold bolts are in the area. And there are some gold bolts you'll be able to get on your first visit, and some that you will not. I believe for this particular area, there are 3 gold bolts, but we can only get 2 at this point. So, because of that, we're only going to get those 2, and that's really about it. But we will be back for all the other ones, so do not worry. We'll definitely get all the gold bolts in the game, and I'll definitely show off the rewards for doing so when we get to that point. So we're going to go down here. You can swim this game. Unfortunately, you do have an air meter like you normally would in games of this fashion. Actually, I should be hugging the ground so I can get more bolts. Just again, pay attention to your air meter and resurface whenever you need more air. Because you don't want Ratchet to die. Because dying would be no good. Although there isn't really that much of a penalty for dying. You just go back to the most recent checkpoint. There are no lives in this game, so you don't have to worry about having to start a planet from the very beginning or anything like that. It'll just respawn you at a certain checkpoint. Which I don't mind. I know there's a lot of people who say, oh, well, not having lives makes the game too easy. But then, like, when you have games with a lot of lives, the game's not exactly, like, I wouldn't say the game's, like, that much more challenging. It just makes it more tedious to come back and do stuff if you do run out of lives. So I don't know. I kind of like that there are no lives in video games anymore. And when you think about it and you go back to like the old NES games, it's like whenever you lose all your lives and you get a game over, you have to restart a significant amount of content over again. And it's just, again, more annoying and tedious if you just want to get through the game normally. Anyway, let's go ahead and get our bomb glove back out because this wall right here looks very, very suspicious. That's because we have a gold bolt inside. Nicely done, Ratchet. Nicely done. And we have some more boxes too, so let's break them and get some more bolts. Some regular bolts, anyway. And see, this is actually good, because I think we'll be able to purchase the ultimate thing we have to get at the end of this section too, so we're not going to be short on any bolts, at least for right now. So now we're going to swim down here. Let's see what's in this part of the cave. Wait, did I just go backwards? No, I couldn't have gone backwards. I think we're good. Yeah, but see, here we are, back at the starting point, and we have another shortcut that we can use to get back to that section, if we really want to or need to use it. But now, we're going to focus on the main part of our journey, or I guess this is more of the secondary part of our journey, but we will definitely need something from this route, so we're going to go down this path and see what we can find in here. Whoa, okay. That's something I'll have to look out for when I'm playing through this, because I have a very old PlayStation 2 controller, and sometimes the control stick sticks to the point where if I'm moving forward and I don't like pull back a little bit, it'll just keep moving me forward, and that can be a little annoying, especially in platforming games. Also, right here, there is another tactic that Ratchet has at his disposal. He can do wall jumps. The walls have to be pretty close to each other, but it is something he can do. And by doing that, we found another gold bolt. So yeah, we have the 2 gold bolts that we can actually obtain right now. The third one we won't be able to get until later, but there's also something else we can get on this planet that we'll also need later, so we'll be getting that gold bolt like much later in the game when we actually have everything we need to get everything else we can get in this area, if that makes sense. Besides, there are some planets that we'll have to backtrack to anyway with, you know, more advanced weaponry and gadgets to find more stuff. This is not one of those planets, but, you know, we'll definitely come back here later. I'll go ahead and mention the other main collectible we're going to try to get all of in this game. There's also skill points. Skill points are basically mini achievements that you can get throughout the game, and if you get enough skill points, you can unlock some things in the extras menu. I wouldn't say it's anything substantial, but still, it's something that I would recommend you try to aim for, just to kind of give yourself a little extra challenge. And it doesn't actually tell you what the achievements are until you beat the game, but since I have the internet, I will, of course, be using that to figure out what they all are and getting them as I go throughout the game, so that will not be a concern or an issue for me. So let's do some more platforming. I wish I could see where I'm going. There we go. We did it. We did it, guys. We did it. We should just feel so good about ourselves. I will say, I do think this game is a very, very responsive platformer, which I think is great. I think that all games, especially platformers, should be very responsive when it comes to the controls and control response.
Dad, blast it!
Look, plumber's crack.
What did you just say?
I said, look, the plumber's back.
All right, wise guy. Shouldn't you be on one of them escape transports?
Escape transports?
Newsflash, giant robots attacking! The escape transports are taking all the rich folks off this god-darn planet.
So why aren't you on one?
Socioeconomic disparity.
What?
He hasn't got enough bolts.
Working people have to wait for Captain Qwark to save us.
Well, got anything worth a lot of bolts?
I got this thing. Shows two weirdos ditching their ship. It's got coordinates to a desert planet, too.
An Infobot. Ratchet, we could use that.
Okay, so yes, we will be buying that. No big deal. But before we do, let's grab some other bolts that are in the area. So yeah, as long as you have 500, you can get the Infobot, no problem. If you don't have 500, you just jump down the sewer pipe and grab some more bolts in the overworld. But yeah, let's go ahead and buy this Infobot.
Geronimo!
Did he just slide down a sewer pipe?
Mayday, mayday! This is the solar ship Radical. We seem to be under attack from the planet's surface.
Relax, kid. It looks like some sort of fireworks display. Probably in your honor.
Whoa! That was close! Ah!
Pipe down, I can't concentrate.
Oh, we've been hit!
An unexpected detour. When we land, I'll see if I can scare up an exhibition for you.
We're not gonna live that long!
Kid, let's M-screen!
Eject! Eject!
Did you see that guy on the left? That was Skid McMarks.
Does he know Captain Qwark?
I doubt it. He's a pro hoverboarder, always going off about how cool he is.
Looks like he's in trouble.
I'll say. I've never seen him look so freaked out.
Okay, so we have another Infobot, which means we kind of have a direction to go in when we leave this planet. We have two potential routes we could go to, so we'll take a look at that before we head off to the next planet, but we're also going to ride down the sewer pipe. Also, fun fact, I believe the guy we talked to was actually voice acted by Neil Flynn. Or at least he sounds very much like Neil Flynn, the janitor from Scrubs. But yeah, I think that's actually going to do it for the planet of Novalis. We've gotten both gold bolts. We can't get the other two things just yet. We will be back here later. And yeah, that's going to do it. So once again, going to end the video here. Do apologize for a short video, but again, these first two videos are going to be short. The rest of the videos should be substantially longer, hopefully. And again, there might come some times where I actually cut some footage out just to make things fit a more video-friendly time, or a time-friendly video duration. Just so I'm not having you guys like sit through an entirely long video here. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys for the next one when we go to the next planet. What planet are we going to go to? We'll find out next time. Later, folks.